I haven't stopped reading, but I have been on a slump, in a slump.
So today we're going to talk about my book slump. We're at the end of July. And let's say I've been in a book slump since beginning of June, a month, more than a month that I've been in a book slump. But I have gone through it, but let's go through the process together. I was in a fantasy era. I read like 3 fantasy books before I ended up in the book slump. I think I had this book slump because I made myself read the book club book that we had for that month, which was And Then There Were None. And let's say the first part of that book was not really interesting, or at least it was confusing because it introduces you a lot of characters all in the same chapter. And I knew it would be a mystery. And I think I was still in my fantasy mood and I was going for a mystery, so I don't think it helped. I did film a little bit when I was reading that book, and I already knew that I was in a book slump. I am supposed to be reading And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie, but I don't feel like it. I don't know if I'm not in a crime mood. I don't feel like reading a crime right now. Probably that's it. I met with the friends from book club, and they told me, well, just try maybe hearing the audiobook. And so I decided to do exactly that, and I ended up loving the book. I was doing other stuff. I think I heard it actually while I was working. But then I was like, okay, but I want to read. So what should I read? And then I thought, well, let me read a fantasy. It only makes sense, right? But I guess I chose it wrong. Or maybe it was the book slump still in me. I don't know. Started to read Trial of the Sun Queen. At the beginning, I was enjoying it. I thought, well, this plot is interesting. And let's say I DNF'd this book at 60% because in my opinion, it was going nowhere. I don't know if it was on purpose because you have other books. I think it's a series, but still, I just DNF'd it. Once I DNF'd this book, I went for our book club book again, and we decided to read last night at the Telegraph Club. I was enjoying it actually, but she was giving us a lot of information that I don't think we needed. On the one hand, that information did give me probably more sympathy towards the character, but still, I don't think we needed some of the information. For example, some chapters have other POVs that I don't believe we needed them, so I don't know why they're there. Reading really, really, really slowly. I think we all were in the book club. We had to change the date. And in the meantime, Reckless came out. And I was like, I want to read Reckless, but I have this one to read. And I was making myself not read Reckless before I finished the Telegraph Club because book club was soon. But once we changed the dates, I was like, well, this is the perfect time. I'm going to stop this one and I'm going to read Reckless. And I think that's what took me out of the slump. Still in the beginning, I was reading slowly, but then the story captured me or hooked me. I read it in a few days. And then when I got back to the Telegraph Club, it was way easier. I still had the feeling of you're giving me too much information. I don't need to read this. But I did finish it. I enjoyed it. I was not expecting the ending, but I also don't know what I was expecting. Then the ratings that I gave for each of these books. To the Agatha Christie book, And Then There Were None, I gave 3.5 stars. I feel like if I've read it, I would give it less, maybe. I really enjoyed it. I think it was great work by Agatha Christie. I don't know how she came up with those stories. I was not expecting, or like the plot twist, I was not expecting it. For the Trial of the Sun Queen, I DNF'd it, so I didn't give it a rating. But if I had to, it would be a 2 point. I'm afraid of giving it a 2.5, so I'm just going to give it a 2. I don't want to talk about it. If you've read it and you loved it and you say like, just read it, you'll understand. If you think it's worth reading, just let me know. But on my own, I'm not going to read it. For the last night at the Telegraph Club, I haven't thought about the rating, so I'm going to decide here with you. I'm thinking 3.5 because I only liked reading about the present and about her story of coming out, of understanding her sexuality, understanding what she likes. Then Reckless, I gave 4 stars. I did film a little bit about my thoughts about it, so I'm gonna put it here. Don't know where to put it. In terms of books, I read Reckless. What can I say? I can say I preferred Powerless. Obviously, I think everyone did, because Reckless is setting a scene between books. But I don't agree with what some people are saying about it being like useless, because I think it will be useful for us to know and to have seen their moments in book 3, because if you read it, you know how it ends. So we needed that to, I don't know, to improve their relationship, I'm assuming. Yeah, I enjoyed Reckless, and as I said, I think it was necessary, and Lauren herself said it was necessary.
Reckless is very character driven and very important to the plot of the overall story, and I know that because I wrote it.
We now just have to wait for book 3 and see if it was really necessary. But yeah, those were the books I read during my book slump. Reckless took me out of the book slump, so thank you, Lauren. I needed it. Currently, I'm reading another book that I can tell you the name. You will see the video maybe next month. In the meantime, I'm also trying to come up with other book video ideas. Sorry for being away for so long. Not that anyone cares, but you know, I care. So sorry to myself as well for not being consistent and trying to come up with things. Let's start again. Kisses, and I'll see you in the next one.